I'm Young Buzz. Welcome back to the channel where we explore everything K-pop with heart, detail, and a little bit of fun. Today, I want to dive deep into someone who might not always be the loudest in the group, but whose presence is impossible to ignore. We're talking about Jeon Wonwoo from SEVENTEEN. Now, Wonwoo has one of the most fascinating mixes of traits. You've got someone who looks cool and distant at first glance, but the more you learn about him, the warmer he becomes. And honestly, I think that's part of his charm. If you've ever had someone tell you that you look cold or intimidating, but in reality you're soft and kind, then you'll probably relate to Wonwoo on a deep level. So let's start from the beginning. He was born on July 17, 1996 in Changwon, Gyeongsangnam-do, South Korea. He has a younger brother named Bo-hyuk, and like many idols, he didn't always think he'd end up on stage. In fact, his journey started in a really unexpected way. He actually auditioned for Pledis just for the experience. He didn't even go in with the mindset of, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna be an idol. But surprise, he passed. And from there, he became a trainee for 4 years. I think there's something beautiful in that, because sometimes the things we don't plan end up shaping our lives the most. Have you ever had that happen to you? Something you did casually, but it ended up changing your whole path? Here's another fun fact. Wonwoo started off as a singer. Yep, not a rapper, but a singer. But people kept pointing out how unique and captivating his voice was, especially for rapping. So he shifted into that world, dove into the hip-hop scene, and eventually became part of SEVENTEEN's hip-hop team. Honestly, can you imagine SEVENTEEN without Wonwoo's deep, grounding rap tone? It's almost impossible, right? His voice adds such a richness to their music. Speaking of his voice, let's just address the elephant in the room. This man has one of the deepest voices in K-pop. On Weekly Idol, he even introduced himself as the member with the lowest voice in SEVENTEEN. And you know what's funny? Even though his voice is so deep and powerful, his personality is actually shy and gentle. That contrast makes him even more intriguing. Like, how can someone sound so intimidating on stage but be so warm and thoughtful off stage? That's Wonwoo for you. And okay, we need to talk about his looks. Wonwoo has said that he ranks himself as 3rd or 4th most handsome in SEVENTEEN, which is humble but still confident. And he's admitted that to him, SKU's is the most handsome member because of his manliness and leadership. What I find amusing is that fans often say Wonwoo looks the most handsome when he's tired and staring blankly. Like, imagine looking effortlessly good even when you're exhausted. That's talent in itself. Do you agree with Wonwoo's self-ranking, or would you put him higher on the visuals list? Let me know in the comments, because I know Carats have strong opinions about this. Now, personality-wise, Wonwoo admits he's pretty shy. When he first meets someone, it can take 1 to 2 months of daily interactions before he fully warms up. That makes him the kind of person who takes his time with relationships. Honestly, I respect that so much, because it means when he does open up, it's real and genuine. No fakeness, no pretending. Do any of you relate to this? Like being the type who doesn't open up instantly, but once you do, you're loyal for life? What's cool about Wonwoo is that despite being reserved, he's also really smart and thoughtful. His members even said he's in charge of wisdom because he's been into reading since he was young and has a wide vocabulary compared to the rest. He spends a lot of time indoors, reading books, playing games, or just relaxing with movies. And here's something really heartwarming. He actually feeds stray cats in his neighborhood. That small detail just says so much about his personality. He's not the loudest, he's not the flashiest, but he has a quiet kindness that really makes an impact. Let's also talk about his hobbies and favorites. He loves reading, playing games, and watching movies. Food-wise, he's a fan of sweet and spicy chicken, kimchi fried rice, and hamburgers. He likes pomegranates too, but he can't eat seafood. Between tteokbokki and ramen, he'll choose ramen, and between comedy or horror, he prefers horror movies. And here's something that got me. He actually enjoys listening to sad music before bed. He even admitted he cries every time he watches the movie Miracle in Cell Number 7. That really shows his sensitive side. I feel like a lot of fans connect with him because of that emotional depth. And while we're on the topic of style, Wonwoo likes casual clothing like parkas, sweatshirts, and jerseys, but his favorite piece is a leather jacket he bought in winter. Honestly, I think his style reflects his personality. Laid back, approachable, but with just enough edge to stand out. By the way, did you know he has dry eye syndrome? He mentioned it on one fine day. That's why you'll often see him with contacts or glasses. It's one of those little details that reminds us idols aren't superhuman. They deal with health issues and small struggles just like us. Alright, let's pause here. We've covered his beginnings, his personality, and some of his likes and dislikes. But there's still so much more to dive into. His dreams, his friendships, his hidden talents, and even his thoughts on love. One thing that really stands out about Wonwoo is how much of a thinker he is. He shared that if he could create a new 17 unit, he'd want to team up with Sungkwan, Mingyu, Hoshi, DK, and Dino, and he'd call it Comics. I don't know about you, but I find that so creative. It shows he doesn't just think about music, but about how personalities could combine into something fun and unique. I kind of want to see that unit happen someday. Imagine the chaos and balance of those 6 members together. What do you guys think? Would you stan a Comics subunit? Wonwoo also has this reputation for being one of the cleanest members of 17. That alone probably makes him one of the easiest roommates. And speaking of dorm life, he's gone from sharing a room with S-Coops to sharing with Mingyu, and then eventually having his own solo room. Honestly, I think that reflects his growth and maturity over time. Don't you think it's interesting how something as small as dorm arrangements can symbolize different chapters in an idol's life? And here's something that gives me chills. In a Japanese 17 magazine interview, Wonwoo said that as a kid, he watched TV and realized he wanted to be a person who sings and dances. That childhood dream is so pure and straightforward, and to see him now on massive stages, achieving exactly what his younger self wanted, it's inspiring. It reminds us that sometimes our simplest dreams really do guide us the farthest. Now let's get into a softer side. Wonwoo has said he doesn't believe in love at first sight. He thinks it's rare to fall in love that quickly. And honestly, I find that perspective refreshing. It fits perfectly with his personality. He's not quick to open up, he takes time, and he values deeper connections. To me, that's a beautiful outlook, because it shows he's not about shallow moments. He's about meaningful bonds. What do you think? Do you believe in love at first sight? Or are you more like Wonwoo, taking things slow and steady? I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments. His name itself has such a lovely meaning too. Won means round, and woo means help. Together it means to live by helping out with a rounded heart. Isn't that so fitting for him? Because everything about his personality, the reading, the wisdom, the kindness, even feeding stray cats, it all lines up with that meaning. Sometimes it feels like names really do carry a part of who we become. And let's not forget his role models. He looks up to Lupe Fiasco and Tableau, both known for their lyricism and depth. That makes so much sense, because Wonwoo isn't just about spitting lines. He's about crafting words that hold meaning. He even enjoys writing lyrics, and I think that side of him is something fans would love to see even more of in the future. Imagine a solo project with his deep voice and lyrics written entirely by him. Wouldn't that be amazing? Now, if you're into visuals, here's a fact for you. He ranked 72nd in the most beautiful faces of 2017. That just proves that it's not only Carats who recognize his beauty. People worldwide see it too. And let's be real. Sharp eyes, tall height, that effortless aura, Wonwoo's visual power is undeniable. Another thing that makes him relatable is how he spends his downtime. He's usually indoors, reading or playing games. It shows that even with all the glitz and glam of being an idol, he still enjoys the simple things. And honestly, I think that's why a lot of fans connect with him, because he feels approachable and real. He's not trying to be larger than life all the time, he's just being himself. When it comes to friendships, he's close with BAP's Himchan, which shows how he's built bonds out of 17 too. And remember when he said he'd like to be a radio jockey someday? That totally fits him. His calm, deep voice would be perfect for late-night radio, the kind of voice that makes you feel safe and understood. I hope he gets to explore that dream someday, because I can imagine a lot of fans tuning in just to hear him talk. Before we wrap things up, let's touch on his ideal type. Wonwoo has said his ideal type is simply someone who suits him well. Not someone overly specific or flashy, but someone who just feels right with him. That, again, shows how thoughtful and genuine he is. He's not about surface-level attraction. He's about a connection that feels natural. So when you put it all together, his shy but warm personality, his love for books and movies, his deep voice, his thoughtful outlook on love, and his grounded nature, you realize that Wonwoo is truly one of the most unique members of SEVENTEEN. He might not always be the center of attention, but he's the kind of person who leaves a lasting impression. Now, Buzz family, I want to hear from you. Do you think Wonwoo is one of the most underrated members of SEVENTEEN? Or do you feel like fans are finally giving him the recognition he deserves? And if you could see him take on a solo project, what kind of concept would you want? Something lyrical and emotional, or maybe something dark and powerful? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading through them and maybe even replying to some. And of course, join the discussion in the comments. I'll be checking them out and maybe even replying to some. This has been Young Buzz, and as always, thank you for watching. Until next time, stay happy, stay positive, and keep buzzing with love for K-pop.